In 2026, FIVA will be celebrating its 60th anniversary. 60 years of enthusiasts around the world protecting and preserving historic motoring and historical vehicles. This dedicated group of enthusiasts have brought FIVA to a global level. FIVA, alongside the FIA, which is working for motoring, FIM for motorcycles, is the third part of the triangle, which is dedicated exclusively to protecting and preserving historical vehicles. It is our hope and our ambition that FIVA is now preparing for the next 60 years, ever stronger and ever willing to protect historical vehicles around the world. We look forward to protecting, preserving, and promoting historical vehicles for the next 60 years. So Jos, we have a partnership with Yukon, which is now almost in its first year. Could you explain how this partnership can really create an added value for our members and ID card holders and whatnot? It'd be really interesting to see the world of opportunities it's creating for the historical vehicle world.
Yeah, sure. But let me go back, because next year we exist for 60 years. And if you compare 60 years ago, we did everything with paper and pen, and we moved and we created a system where people can apply for the FIVA ID card online. So we went from paper and pen to online and digital, and the route forward is clearly big data. And 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗃 is a company established in the automotive world. They have been doing this for modern vehicles, and about 3 years ago they integrated a whole lot of data of older vehicles. And of course, you know, every year a large number of vehicles will become young timers and old timers. So gradually in that database they accumulated millions and millions of parts. And that is very important, because if you own a vehicle and you want to do service, you're not going to the local junkyard per se, only if you can't find the stuff. If you have a pristine vehicle like this Ferrari, it's a different ballpark, but also the more moderate cars, it's very important to keep them as original as possible. Okay. And with 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗃 and the cooperation we have with 𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗃 in combination with the FIVA ID card, it's now possible to search for official, high quality parts through the different channels. And that makes our motto, keeping yesterday's vehicles on today's road, absolutely true.
Absolutely.
It's essential.
Exactly. Mr. 𝗓𝗏, I want to express how honored we are to speak to you today, and thank you for taking part in our workshop today. Your insights were very, very helpful. One of the areas that really caught our attention was that you mentioned there's a demographic shift in the taste of the new generation of the historic vehicle buyers. Somehow we witness the Japanese cars are becoming very popular because many people have memories with them from the movies from the 90s and whatnot. So can you maybe elaborate a little bit on how the shift is taking place?
Yes, I think that it's not only because of the movies, it's also because of Gran Turismo or this kind of play, and the people is becoming enthusiast or fanatic about these kind of cars. We have to see if this will continue also when they became a bit older. But this year I noticed more and more that in California during the Monterey week, and it's full of tents and people of the 20s who are making movies, photos of instant classic or special cars. This is incredible. It changed a lot in the last 10 years, I would say.
So Marco, I'm very pleased to realize that it's the 10th anniversary of our cooperation, and it has been really a great cooperation with you and your organization. Could you tell us a little bit about your feelings about our cooperation with FIVA?
This is the 42nd edition of Automotive 𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗃. We are very, very happy to have again FIVA as our main partner. It's important for us not to have only a lot of visitors, but it's very, very important for us to have very enthusiastic visitors, very international visitors and exhibitors. And FIVA is for us the very best partner for it. It's important to understand how we can communicate to the young visitors, the young collectors, the culture of classic cars, because we know that our young visitors grew every year, okay, but we must observe what they want, because they arrive at our event and they want to know, to understand the cars, the history, the technique. Is very, very important for us work for these young collectors, because young collectors are the future and the present.
Well, FIVA fully supports this view and is taking the same approach as well. So thank you very much, and it's been a great 10 years, and we look forward to the next 10 years.
Thank you very much, and have a nice, great day, great year with you for the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Pirelli is one of the companies in the world which not only fully provides the latest state-of-the-art technology for today's cars, but also is helping to preserve and protect yesterday's cars. And could you explain a little bit about the policy of the company and how it has such a wide-ranging product line?
Well, it's slightly more than 10 years then that Pirelli has started the Pirelli Collezione project, but it's actually more than 150 years that Pirelli is in the industry. We are one of the longest-standing tire manufacturer, and as you mentioned, our aim, of course, is to be on the edge of technology and to look forward to what future will bring to the automobile and to the tire development. But thanks to this long history, we also are able to tell what's happened along the evolution of automobiles almost since the beginning until nowadays and beyond. So being on the classic cars is the natural complement to develop new tires for new cars. It enables us to use what we learned throughout the process, throughout all these decades, and we are able to preserve the originality of the outer aspect. So with Collezione products, a user is able to have a tire that looks as much as possible as it would have been on the classic car, yet he will have a tire that has new materials, it is safer, and it's possible to exploit all the experience that are linked to being on a classic car. Of course, we want to make the best of the history. We recognize which is the historical importance and the cultural importance of the heritage of our history, and we recognize that FIVA is a leader in preserving the historical vehicles as an example of the cultural history that has been.
So Stefan, you spent 51.5 years of your life at Pirelli, where you're involved in everything from product design to even the historic vehicle tires. But what I'm interested to hear about is that you were also intimately involved in the motorsport side, especially in the golden days of Group B in the 80s, in Formula One in the 90s, and then 10 years ago you went back to the motorsports. So I'd like to see how you saw the evolution from the times you were involved in the beginning and when you came back. What was the evolution like?
Massive evolution. If we forget for one moment the evolution of materials, process technologies, and the sophistication of the tyres nowadays compared to the handmade, handcrafted tyres of the 80s and 90s, and probably before that when I wasn't involved. But the fundamental change in the approach to motorsport is that in the 80s and 90s we developed tyres for a team. There was a tyre war, if you call it that, of many suppliers in the same championship. So we collaborated directly with a single team, often with tyres dedicated for a fraction of the rally, a special stage, and in occasions for a particular driver in that team on that rally. So we would have a maximum of innovation. In recent years, the focus is on quality, repeatability, that every tyre has to be the same in the same performance and have a much wider window of performance because it's a standard tyre for the championship. All Formula One tyres have the same tyres. All WRC rally tyres use the same suppliers. As for motorcycle events, nearly every tyre is a control tyre now. Very, very few championships have different tyre suppliers where there is the innovation and the tyre war of technology.
Exactly. One of the most unique things about this vehicle won the Formula 2 championship in 1970,
Yes.
55 years ago. 55 years ago, Motul helped this car win the championship, driven by 𝗂𝗂𝗁𝗂𝗏.
Yes.
55 years later, your lineup products, car care, lubricants, are now helping to preserve this very same car. Could you talk a little bit about that, please?
Yes, this is let's say the first purpose in our group when we decided to create a line of products dedicated to the heritage cars and classic cars, because we strongly believe that first of all our group got a very long history to tell, and this is an example, as you mentioned, in the 70s, so it was 55 years ago, as you said. And the idea is to go on and continue supporting organizations like FIVA, for instance, to take and to nourish the flame of this environment. We strongly believe that is what we did it in the past, that we have to testify and keep alive also for the actual lubricants. This is our first purpose of our commitment into this field.
Part of motoring heritage and preserving the motoring heritage is the memorabilia that comes along with it. The signs of the service stations, the models which were of the original cars, even collecting the different badges and signs and stickers and whatnot. What is your view on how memorabilia can help protect, preserve motoring heritage, the part that it plays?
Tutto il mondo automobilistico vintage d'epoca, con le automobili naturalmente, ha tutto un corredo. In questo caso il corredo dell'automobilia, della memorabilia, è una cosa che va a completare l'appassionato che si riconosce nell'insegna dell'epoca, nel manuale. L'automobile comprende anche la ricerca del vecchio manuale che il proprietario dell'automobile ne è sprovvisto e dunque lo trova in questi nostri espositori che vanno alla ricerca, girano i mercati oppure nelle vecchie concessionarie appunto per poi proporre all'acquirente dell'auto d'epoca in modo che possa completare il corredo. È diventato veramente una cosa bellissima, dico perché anch'io da collezionista, di avere l'arredo nell'ufficio di lavoro oppure nella propria abitazione nell'ambito automobilistico da appassionato automobilistico. A casa mia, delle mie 15 moto d'epoca, ne tengo a rotazione una in soggiorno perché mi godo la mia passione anche avendo un pezzo della mia collezione come arredamento in casa. Dunque tutto quello che riguarda, che sia il modellismo, che sia le riviste d'epoca, le insegne eccetera, è proprio tutto un mondo che l'appassionato di auto e moto d'epoca tiene a vestire la propria personalità, il posto di lavoro o l'abitazione.
So Davide, your museum has a long affiliation with FIVA and really has been doing wonderful work over the years. And here we are at a celebration for 75 years of Formula 1. And we see one of your cars from the museum here on display, a very unique car. Could you give us a little bit background and a little bit overall the fact that you are helping to preserve Formula 1 through your museum, through these cars? Maybe you can give us a little bit background.
Okay, of course. Well, our museum was founded in 1935. 1933 is when it was open to public. The idea of our museum was to save all these cars that were parked in garage or in sheds. And the idea of 𝗕𝗂𝗁𝗂 𝗔𝗂𝗂𝗵𝗂, our founder, was to preserve everything. So he started asking the company that produce cars to give their old car to the museum or to private person to donate the car to the museum. At the starting, we started with very old cars, but then in the 40s and 50s and 60s, we started receiving cars also from outside Italy. For example, this Mercedes-Benz 196 came directly from the Mercedes-Benz company and from the Daimler-Benz company. The director of the sport division of Mercedes-Benz decided that in our country should have one of their cars. So in 1957 they donated this car after 2 years of winning the Formula and Grand Prix. So we have this car since 1957.
Mr. Lopresto, I'm very, very happy to see you again after last year's signing ceremony with FIVA and for the MAMAC executive program for historical vehicles. Could you tell us how it's proceeding? And also, will the program be available in English as promised soon?
Grazie per questo incontro, dopo un anno ci rivediamo. Devo dire che sono molto contento perché la prima edizione sta finendo, ci sono le ultime lezioni fra qualche settimana. Il corso è andato molto bene, abbiamo avuto delle partnership importanti, dei docenti molto importanti, gli studenti sono stati molto contenti. A dicembre faremo la cerimonia di consegna dei diplomi e quindi il primo anno, il primo esperimento è andato benissimo, siamo tutti soddisfatti e proprio oggi presenteremo la nuova edizione del prossimo anno che sarà strutturata online, quindi anche per favorire gli stranieri, che abbiamo avuto tantissime richieste, quindi sarà in inglese e ci sarà una presenza limitata a 2 o 3 settimane. Adesso dobbiamo studiare e capire come strutturare la parte in presenza in Italia.
On behalf of FIVA, first of all, I want to congratulate you on the selection and induction of Mr. Camillo Bertoni to the FIVA Heritage Hall of Fame. And it's a question that we want to know, how is the legacy of Mr. Bertoni to this day?
Allora, Bertoni è stato, come abbiamo detto e ormai tutti sanno, un grandissimo designer. In realtà ha realizzato delle opere d'arte a tutti gli effetti che non hanno poi avuto degli epigoni, cioè non ha, come dire, creato una scuola di stile, ma è senza dubbio rimasto come un modello anche di progettazione. Ricordo le parole di Roland Barthes quando dice che la DS è davvero un'opera d'arte al pari di altre opere d'arte.
Camillo Bertoni è stato un grande perché ha diviso l'automobilismo da un punto di vista stilistico in prima di Bertoni e dopo di Bertoni. Bertoni è stato un car designer ante litteram, ha prodotto le macchine sia partendo dalla linea ma anche concentrandosi sul particolare, sul cruscotto, sugli appoggiabraccio, sui portacenere. E questo fa di lui già un personaggio molto moderno. E poi è stato un grande perché la sua fama si è protratta anche nelle generazioni successive delle Citroën. Basta pensare la Sport Maserati, basta pensare la CX e tutte le altre.
You know, it's very fascinating that Honda would dedicate such a huge part of exhibition for Honda Classic. Can you tell us a little bit how Honda is approached for preserving its history and its heritage and what the approach is?
Yes, this is a very important tool for us as a marketing tool and brand, because to preserve our historical, let people to know our history first of all, but also to the new generation. And of course, we show that only a company like Honda can have a past like ours in all the area, like racing, production, and this is very important as a brand tool in the market, because on the one hand, many new brands, motorcycle brands are coming in the international market, and for us it's important to show our history and what we did in the past. And I think only Honda that started in '59 to race in all the discipline, in all the class, not only motorcycle, but Formula One, Indy. So we have a huge history and we want to preserve and let people to know our history.
So, Mark, you bring a wealth of history and background to the days you were at the HVA and you were promoting heritage, and I know you have a lot of experience working in that field. I'm just wondering, when you see a group like Stellantis promoting their heritage, what kind of feedback do you get? How do you feel about that?
No, I think it's fabulous. I mean, we have behind us here 3 of the most mythic cars that you could possibly have here. I mean, starting with this Lancia to my right. This is a car that this model ran in the Mille Miglia, ran in the Carrera Panamericana, and put Lancia back on the map as one of the true historic racers. And of course, this Type 33 with a fiberglass body there, 4-cylinder engine. This was one of the true special cars back in the day, and just built like that. And of course, this Abarth here is a 750 record car built by Carlo Abarth, and has the Fiat badge on it with the Abarth badge because he was picking up 100 lira or something like that. Basically some money every time the car won. So that was absolutely important back in the day. But it's absolutely important that Stellantis bring out some of these gems to the general public, and we're going to have thousands of visitors here walking by this, and I'm sure they're going to be swarming all over this stand because these are some of the true gems of the Stellantis collection for Lancia, Alfa Romeo, and Fiat Abarth.
So, Laurent, if you don't mind, could we have a quick introduction about yourself and also the latest developments on the FIVA ID card? I understand that you have some exciting news.
Thank you, Ramin. Hello, everybody. I'm Laurent Ayou from France. I'm president of the technical commission at FIVA and in charge of the FIVA ID card. So the FIVA ID card is really the DNA of a vehicle. We try to go as far as possible at the truth about history. And it's not only a question of technical data, and we are working on that, especially in the future with some other partners in a really close future. And then we're not only focusing about the technique, also we are in charge about the history of the vehicle. We are not judging anymore the vehicles, but the history is the emotion of the vehicle. And a very good news is this behind us. Each Ferrari which will have a certificate by Ferrari Classiche will get a FIVA ID card. So we are very happy and proud about this. We are looking for authenticity and identification of a vehicle. Thank you.
Mr. Modena, first of all, congratulations on the cooperation with FIVA. And one of the questions I think is on a lot of people's minds these days is the fact that Ferrari takes such fantastic care of its customers with the service and the support, and it's no wonder it's a leading brand. But for the future, with all the increasing use of electronics, how can the owners be assured in the future that that the cars can keep running? Because you know that the percentage of electronics is increasing every year with all the safety regulations and different considerations as well. How do you plan on addressing that for the future?
First of all, I'd like to thank you for the cooperation with FIVA, for all the strong activities we are doing together, as well as for this question. And the way is the following. Considering that our heritage, our founder legacy is that a car is forever, we are working in strong connection with our research development department in order from the moment we start studying the car to consider the future evolution in order to be able to retrofit on old cars much modern ECU, which means much modern technology, but keeping the car authentic and in the same behavior as when they were produced.
So basically the owners can have the assurance that notwithstanding all the electronic components, Ferrari is ready and Ferrari will preserve and make sure that their cars run forever.
What I'm used to say in order of answering my position, my role is the following. My daily job is to grant that 78 years in front of me, I will not be there, but there should be someone seated at my table, looking at the car in front, having the car from the 40s, the 50s, the 90s, 2010, 2020, 2040, and all of them being able to be enjoyed, driven every day as it is today.
Fantastic. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.